You fire off 2 words in a chat to someone sitting right there in the same room. One tap, and it lands on their phone before you even look up. Except it never actually went to their phone. It went to a building first, and that one fact changes everything you think just happened. So freeze that instant right there. We're going to climb out of the phone and follow that little message on the trip you never get to see. Where did it actually go in that split second? Not 6 feet across the room, somewhere you would never guess. In a couple minutes, you'll know exactly what happens between send and delivered. Something you've done a million times and never once watched. First, kill the picture in your head. Your message was not handed to the phone next to you, like passing a note across a desk. Look at your phone. There's no wire coming off it. So the message can only leave one way as an invisible radio whisper thrown into the air. And that whisper isn't aimed at your friend, it's aimed at the nearest cell tower. That's the on-ramp, an antenna whose whole job is to listen for your phone. But here's the first weird part. The message doesn't leave in one piece. The second you hit send, it gets sliced into tiny numbered chunks. Picture tearing a letter into little scraps, numbering each one and letting every scrap find its own way there. Each of those scraps has a name, it's a packet. So each numbered piece can take a totally different road, leave at a slightly different moment, and still end up in the right place. Which means your message isn't really one thing flying across the room anymore, it's a handful of little pieces scattering out into the network. But where do the pieces actually go? The tower can't do much on its own, it's just the door. So the tower takes your radio whisper and turns it into a signal running down a cable in the ground, then it hands your pieces off to the real road. And that road isn't copper, and it isn't electricity, it's glass. A single thread of glass thinner than a human hair. Inside that glass, your pieces stop being radio. They turn into pulses of light sprinting down the thread. Not quite the speed of light though. The glass slows it to about 2/3 of that, still fast enough to cross a whole country in a heartbeat. Now your pieces are racing along as light, through glass, under streets and under cities, heading somewhere very specific. And this is the part nobody pictures. The whole reason your message left the room at all. Where is it racing to? Not your friend's phone. Your pieces race to a data center, a warehouse full of humming machines, and they check in there first, always. 2 phones in the same room, inches apart. And the message still shoots all the way up to a building full of servers before it comes anywhere near the other one. Now here's the wild part. Those machines never actually read your message. It travels sealed shut, so even the company passing it along can't open it. All they read is the address on the outside, just enough to point the pieces the right way, like a sorting office that never opens the envelope. So how far away is this building anyway? Sometimes it's across town, and sometimes it is a whole lot farther than that. Because for the long trips, that glass thread doesn't just run under streets, it runs under the ocean. Think about texting family overseas. That detour genuinely crosses an ocean and comes back. Nearly all the traffic between continents rides these cables under the sea. The glass carrying the light in there is still thinner than a hair, but the cable wrapped around it is only about as thick as a garden hose. One tiny thread holding a whole planet's conversations. Your pieces may have just traveled thousands of miles now through a strand under the sea, and they're still not done. And now the pieces have to find one specific phone, out of the billions switched on right now. Turns out every phone has its own unique address, a house number, but for a device, and the pieces have been quietly following it home this whole time. So the server looks up where that one phone is sitting right now, then it pushes the pieces down its always open connection straight to it and no one else. Out of a glowing field of billions, the message finds the single phone it was meant for, and it lands. But the pieces show up out of order, scrambled from all taking different roads. So the phone reads the numbers, snaps the scraps back into order, and rebuilds the whole message. Then it buzzes, delivered. Now remember where we started? 2 phones, inches apart in the same room. To cross that 6 feet, your message detoured through a building. The pieces may have raced under an ocean and back, and it beat your blink. The shortest distance in your whole life turned out to be one of the longest. The phone was 6 feet away. The message crossed the planet to get there. And it's not rare. This is happening billions of times a second all around you right now. A giant relay you will never see, running quietly under everything you say.